Hello, everybody. We are here with my very good friend, Carrie.
Hi.
She has agreed to join us. So Mike and I are on our first cruise in a lot of years. We haven't been on a cruise together since Alaska in 2001, but this is our first Royal Caribbean cruise. That's not the case for Carrie.
No.
You've been on how many cruises?
55.
55 cruises.
Yes.
How many days at sea do you remember?
A little over 500.
A little over 500 days on sea. So she's going to come bring us some expert tips, because I consider anybody that's been on over 50 cruises an expert. And then I'm going to bring some of the newbie things that Mike and I have learned that I wish I'd have known before we came on the cruise. So hopefully we can bring y'all some of the best of both worlds. So tell us, how did you get to 50 cruises? When did your love for cruising start?
Actually, on day one. First time being on a boat, it just changed everything. It's total relaxation. You're free to do what you want when you want and just enjoy. And I love the ocean. I love the sea. So
you just love it.
I love it.
Do you remember when your first cruise was? How many years ago? About
30
years ago? Who'd you go with?
friends.
Friends?
They took me on my first one.
So
never stopped since then.
Never stop. I love it too, and I've really been watching people. I like to watch people, and I noticed that everybody is, and we travel a lot, as y'all know, but everyone's so relaxed.
Yes.
Everybody's so happy, and that is just a good feeling to be with 3,000 or however many people are on this boat. And for the most part, everybody's just relaxed and happy, except for some of those that have kids.
Yeah.
some of them have seemed a little bit stressed out.
Yeah.
But other than that, so it is like everybody says, like a city, like its own little city. I mean, it's I don't think I'll see everything on this 5-day cruise that I even want to see, because there's just so much to do. But we're also taking it slow. So so tell us about the boats, the different boats. So you mostly go Royal Caribbean.
Yes.
You're pretty married to that, just like
Very
you're married
much.
to our casino brand. You're pretty married to Royal Caribbean.
Yes. I've tried just about every cruise line, but I've always come back to Royal Caribbean.
Okay.
Always.
What's the difference for you?
The crew, the boats, the activity levels, it kind of caters to everyone of every age, a little more than some of the others do.
Okay. Because I know we talked about like Carnival, that's kind of more of a party ship.
It is.
And it is.
It
is
is.
a more of a fun ship, and that's their saying.
If you want to go and just have a great time drinking and just getting wild, Carnival's where you go.
Yeah. And kids too, I think.
Yes, kids love it.
Yeah.
And it's all in what you're looking for and
Right.
the type of vacation level you want.
Okay. So that's how you kind of chose Royal, and you keep coming back to Royal. So tell us about the different boats, because there's a vast difference in the boats.
There is.
Okay, so talk to us about that.
Well, you have your Oasis class ships. Now, when you're talking that, you're talking Icon, Wonder, Symphony. These are your large ships, and they have amenities for everyone. Then you go down to what I call your mid ships. Those are great for different types of cruising. They have outside walks where you can sit outside, where your large ships don't. So you give up a little bit on the big ships for a small ship. You just have to see which one you like the best. But a large ship, you can't get bored. There's
So much
something
to do.
going on all day and all night.
Yes. So Allure, we're on the Allure of the seas, out of the Bahamas, or no, out of Port Canaveral. We're in the Bahamas. It's
Yes.
where our cruise went to. It's a 5-day cruise, and that's a large ship.
Yes.
Okay. And we did that by design, because if some of you know, Mike has sometimes gets seasick, so we've never really cruised much. So we wanted, on purpose, we took a large ship with a short destination in case he did get seasick. Thankfully, that has not been the case. He's not been sick at all. Hasn't even had to use his medication or his wristband. So that's been great. But we did this cruise by design. And I was a little taken aback by there's not a lot of outdoor deck space. It's pretty crammed. Being a Carnival cruiser, I've done several Carnival cruises myself. I'm used to that open deck space. So that was a little different for me.
And that's what you get on the medium-sized ships.
Okay.
You actually get the decks that you can sit outside by the water and enjoy. So you give up that on a large ship. But when you go on the medium ship, you're still full of activities and things to do. It's just not as grand as these.
Okay.
And also it depends on the port of calls you're going to as to which size ship you want.
That's right. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. That leads us to our next question. When to take a small ship and when to take a big ship. So tell us about that.
Well, depending on where you're going. Like if you're going to Jamaica and you want to go into Ochos Rios and all, you're going to take a medium ship, not a large. The large ship draws too much water, so they have to go to Falmouth. Well, Falmouth is quite a distance. It's only 38 miles, but with traffic, it could take you an hour and a half on a bus to get to your destination for your excursion. So I always recommend if you're going to Jamaica, take the middle ships, the mid-size.
Okay.
They're better for where
Okay.
you're going. Same as in Italy and Greece, you want your small to medium because of the water it draws.
Okay.
And you get into ports you cannot get into with a large ship.
In Alaska, would that be the same?
Alaska, you want to do a mid-sized ship because it gets closer to the glaciers and it can go into ports that the large ship can't.
Okay. Okay. Any others?
It just depends on where you're going. I mean, you have to look and see which port you're going to, and then look at the mid-sized ships with the same itineraries and see if they have other, because of the grounds of the water.
Okay.
All depends on that.
Okay. And we're going to cover a lot of things. So I'm trying to start this out from like when you book your trip, to when you're getting ready to get on your cruise and when you're on your cruise, all those things. So I'm kind of going in order. So stay tuned because there's a lot of information we're going to cover here.
Yes.
So now talk to us about the different room types.
Okay. There's an inside cabin, which means windowless. It's very dark. It's just a small cabin, but it's your budget. It's bottom. Then you can go to your promenade view, and that is where it overlooks the Centrum. The window overlooks inside the boat. Then you have an ocean view, which is a porthole or window. Then you get into balconies, spacious balconies. Then you get into suites, junior suites, and grand suites.
And grand suites are like 2 floors, right?
Some are two-story on the larger ships. On the medium ships, they're 1 story.
Okay, that's good to know. I prefer usually a balcony. Even though I don't sit out on the balcony a lot, I like the ability to go out there. Like this morning, I went out and was able to take some video. That's just really what I prefer.
We've been in the grand suites. We've been in pretty much all the suites. We still prefer the balcony over any of it, but it's because you're not in your room that much.
Yeah, you're not.
You're really not going to utilize the difference in money if you're paying for it.
Yeah, right, that's right. And I did take a nap today, so I did use my room for that. I'm not a napper, so something about the cruise made me nap for sure. Tell me about your favorite cruise ports.
Alaska.
I know it's too many for you to be able to.
No, it's actually short.
Okay.
Alaska is one of my favorite. Italy and Greece and the Virgin Islands are the 3 that I love the most in Jamaica.
Okay. And you prefer a 7-day cruise?
I prefer
On most
7 to 9 day cruises.
cruises. Okay.
Great if a short cruise if you're bringing your children or grandchildren or you're just going with friends. But for my husband and I, we prefer to unwind for 7 to 10 days.
Okay. Okay. And are there any that you haven't been to that you want to do, like on your bucket list?
Yeah, I want to do the Mediterranean with Spain and all, and Iceland.
Iceland, that would be a great one too.
Yeah, those are the 2 next ones we're doing.
Yeah, that would be a great one. That would be fun. So now let's talk about what to do when you've booked your cruise and you're getting ready to go. What do you do before?
First thing you do is download the Royal Caribbean app. It gives you information on everything, every place the boat's going, what time the shows are, deck maps, everything. Second, bring an extension cord. You're going to need it.
You do. You have 3 plugs and they're
Yes.
all together.
You need it. Most people like us, we bring a fan, a small travel fan. No
They
scissors.
also will bring you one in your room on most ships, I read.
They will, but not all the time.
Okay.
It depends on how many people have asked for it.
Okay. So ask for it when you first get on.
Yes, and some ships will, some ships won't.
Okay.
It just depends. Bring.
You told me to go to my app, and this was like 5 days before, and get booked. Go ahead and
Book your shows and anything you can beforehand. You can't do it on
you
all
said
of them.
to upload my passport.
Correct.
And take my photo and put my credit card on.
Yes, because that's how you actually fill out your paperwork for the cruise now. It's
Yes.
paperless. And then you can print your boarding pass from there once it's complete. And if you lose it, it's okay. It's still on your phone.
Right.
But you want to do all of that. And if you put your credit card on and you decide to change it later, you can go right back into your app, take that card off, and put a new card on.
Okay. Yeah, and so we found that very helpful to get those things done out ahead of time. And we also, I love the fact now because of COVID. Thank you, COVID. They don't do the muster stations anymore. We're used to. They would bring everybody out. You have to go to your muster station. You have to stand there. And I really am not a claustrophobic person, but that made me
It's a lot.
It was a lot. Now you do it all from your phone. But what I did find is you can't do that until we were on the ship's Wi-Fi, and I don't think it's like that everywhere.
No, it's not.
But it was like that here, so it was a little confusing at first because I knew we were 24 hours out and we could go ahead and watch our safety briefing, and we couldn't get it to work until we got in our room, and then it worked just fine. And then you just take your phone down, you show them that you watched it, and they clear you, check you off that you've done that. The other thing was the safety questions, health questionnaire, and you can only do that. There's a certain right before the cruise.
Yes, at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yes,
it
that
starts
same day. But you want to get those two things done, and that'll help speed things up when you're going through that checkout line.
Very quick.
Yeah, and I did notice too that people that use birth certificates, it took them a whole lot longer than it took us with a passport. So if you have an opportunity or you have a passport, definitely recommend that.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And some ports that are not closed in, some cruises that are not closed in, require a passport.
Okay.
So you always need to check with the cruise line
That's
where
a
you're
good point.
going to make sure of whether they'll let you off the boat to go in their country without a passport.
Okay, good to know. So what about packing? What things can you not bring?
Think TSA. No knives, no weapons, no scissors, anything like that you can't bring.
Now, I always travel with a small pair of scissors on TSA, and I never have trouble.
You don't always have trouble on the cruise lines. They will take them a lot of times, but you do get them back at the end of the cruise. You go down and they give you everything that they've confiscated.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. Okay, and what about packing in your luggage? You can have as much as you want.
As much as you want. You want to bring 20 suitcases, bring them.
But you may not have room for them in your room.
Nope. Get a balcony so you can stack them outside.
And hope it doesn't rain.
And
Hope it doesn't rain.
yeah, but you don't wear the amount of clothes you wear at home on a cruise. Most people overpack.
Right.
You don't need it.
I heard that bringing magnets, because all the walls are metal.
Correct.
So you can buy heavy-duty magnets that you can stick on the wall if you're an organizer, like I am, and you can hang your things off the wall.
Correct.
It really helps with space. I do think they've done a great job with space. I mean, we've had plenty to unpack our suitcases and we have room left. But if you're an overpacker or you don't want purses laying down or whatever, and you want extra spots, there's places to do. You can use magnets for that.
There is.
And then I want to just bring up, I know this isn't your favorite thing, but theme nights. I'm a themed person, so I love that. So dressing up for 70s night. So be sure to check out with your cruise and see if they have any. I guess typically they do on every cruise. You want to talk about that? I mean, just some you've seen.
It's a fun time.
Yeah.
It really is. It's 70s music, everybody dancing, dressed in psychedelic wear, and it's fun. It's a throwback.
Yeah.
And if you love the music of the 70s and the disco era, you will have a wonderful time.
And so do they have 70s on every cruise?
Most do.
Okay.
Sometimes they'll do an 80s or they'll do a Mardi Gras. You can look on your information on your phone and it tells you what's going on.
Okay. And so what about formal nights? Talk about that a little bit.
Okay, former nights changed a lot. It used to be women all in long gowns, men in tuxedos and suits. It's more laid back now. You will still,
As is the world.
it is, and you'll still see formal gowns and tuxedos, but not as many. It's about, they want you to enjoy your vacation and have a good time and not feel pressure, but give you the opportunity to glam it up too.
Yeah. And I saw about 50-50
Yep.
last night, I think.
You will.
Yeah, I saw some really nice, just beautiful, gowns, and then I saw some just average, and then some that you could tell they dressed up a little more than they normally would,
Mhm.
and then some very casual people as well. But I did hear one lady say, boy, they really take this formal night seriously, don't they? Well, as we were walking by, or somebody, I don't know if she's talking about me, but just in general. I like to dress up. I think I like to have an opportunity to put on a nice, gown. I didn't overdo it, but I had fun with it and I enjoy it. So I enjoy that kind of stuff.
Well, where do people really get a chance to go anymore where they can wear a gown?
Right.
I mean, realistically, everybody's rushing around anymore, and what woman doesn't love to dress up?
That's right.
So I say go for it.
Yeah.
Buy yourself that gown and come out here and just strut your stuff.
Strut your stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Mike didn't love it so much having to put on that sports coat, but he did it. He did it.
He looks good.
And he looked so good. He did. He did look good. So different boats have different prices. You've said this to me several times.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you mean by that?
Depending on the destination you're going to, the length of cruise depends on the price. So the further the ports away that you're going to, the more money it costs.
Okay.
So just think about where you want to
But
go.
I thought you meant like different prices within the ship. No, that's not what you meant when you said
No, I
that.
meant
Okay.
prices of cruises.
Prices of how much the cruise costs. Okay.
Correct.
So whether you get your free cruise or you pay for it, it's going to cost, of course, different
Right.
locations. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Perfect. And then what? Location of the cabin. That's a big tip.
Very important.
Yes. So talk about that.
If you're prone to seasickness, go towards the back of the cabin and stay on back of the ship and a lower floor. The closer to the water, the less movement. The higher you go, the more. So I always recommend anybody to stay from mid to aft that are prone to seasickness.
Okay. Okay. And I think you gave me another tip about the ocean view room. You can ask for a promenade room.
Yes, if you have a free cruise and you're using that cruise and you have an ocean view, but you decide wherever it's at, that's not where you want to be, you can ask for a promenade view, which is actually a downgrade, but it could get you right by the elevator or on the floor you want to be on, and you see all the activity and the parades and everything going on below. But one tip I will recommend for anyone, if you get a promenade room, close your blinds when you're getting dressed.
For sure, because you're looking over at other people.
Yes. And some of the stuff you see is not pretty.
I bet.
So close your blinds.
Yeah, be sure. Yeah, I wouldn't like a promenade room at all because I like to leave my curtains open. For sure. So then we're going to talk about parking. Parking tips. And I know we're all going to cruise out of different places, so we found parking pretty easy, but we did book ahead of time when we parked.
I always recommend that you park off-site, not at the terminal. It's double to triple the cost. Most all the parking sites have shuttles that take you back and forth. They handle your luggage, drop you door to door.
Mm-hmm.
Very easy, and your car is secured
Yeah.
for half the price.
Yeah.
So I would recommend that.
So that you don't feel like you have to park at the terminal, you can use it off-site.
Yes.
And then you save a little bit of money that way.
The only tip I will give you is if you're going out of Miami, it's a nightmare no matter where you park.
Okay.
That's a very difficult city to navigate around.
Anyway.
It is. And some of the parking is just not where they say it is. They'll tell you it's at this address, you get there, there's nothing. Don't panic. If it's like right way parking and you can't find it, just call. They have like 12 locations. You can go to a different one. So Miami, just be prepared.
Okay, it's different. So what do you do when you get on the ship? What do you do? First thing you do when you get on the ship is take your stuff to your room.
Mm-hmm.
So you can you can send your luggage, and we checked some of our luggage. I'll say when we packed, we put The wine that we brought, our water, we didn't want that getting thrown around. My makeup and an extra pair of clothes. So in case our luggage didn't get there in time for the evening, we had clothes to wear to dinner. And we carried that stuff on. Y'all carry all your stuff on?
On a short cruise
On
like
a
this,
short
we
cruise,
do.
yeah.
A large cruise, we don't.
Yeah. But here, we put our stuff, we did check some baggage, and it was within our room within a couple of hours, so that wasn't a big deal.
Right.
I did want to mention, you cannot bring irons on a cruise.
No.
So we did have to send our stuff off, and it was like $5 for my dress and $3 for his shirts to get them pressed. So
Very reasonable.
We did that. I thought it was very reasonable to have done. Tip on that is to get it put out that night that you get here.
Yes.
And then you don't have to pay an expedited fee, and if you don't mind getting it back the next day.
Correct.
So we did that, but you cannot bring an iron on for sure. So just want to clarify that, a good point. So you can not have an iron, but you also can have an extension cord, but you
Yes.
cannot have a power strip.
Yes.
Even though we accidentally brought one and they didn't catch that.
And some boats don't say anything. You can get them on, but others will take it.
Okay. But again, they'll let you get it at the end of,
Yes.
of the cruise.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, very good to know. So back to what we do whenever you get on the ship. So you get your stuff, go to your room, you can ask for your room steward for anything that you're going to need. They'll usually greet you right away. And then what do you do? What's the next step?
For new cruisers, I recommend that you walk the boat, familiarize yourself with everything out there. Get an idea of the lay of the boat, or you're going to be going in circles the whole time. So that's important. Book your restaurants.
Very important.
Very important. First day, because they sell out
First
quick.
thing.
So if you want a specialty dining, go down and book it.
So we walked on the boat. She walked over to the desk and booked right then. Yeah. And then I went to the room, got on my app, and I booked all the shows that we wanted to do. And even though we had just gotten on the boat, I still couldn't get into everything that we want. We couldn't get into the Aqua show because it was booked that fast. And I didn't realize that you have to book for the comedians. So I didn't book that, and they sold out. But your big tip was still go and try, and you may be able to get in.
Yes, because a lot of people get on the boat and they're busy doing other things. They lose track of time. You can go to the show and there'll be 100 open seats. You just never know. So just because you didn't get a ticket doesn't mean you shouldn't go and see if you can get in.
Right.
Because most of the time you really can.
And I'll say the shows here have been phenomenal. We did the ice skating show. It was spectacular, and loved Mamma Mia. I was worried about sitting in a theater for 2.5 hours, but it was fantastic.
It's a
and
great
a great
show.
little break. It was a great break, and the actors and actresses were fabulous. Okay, and then I want to talk about a little bit about the spa. We just know they're very expensive.
Extremely expensive. It's a very nice spa, done very well, good people, but a lot of selling on everything that they do.
Yeah.
If you go for a massage, they try to talk you into buying every Elemis brand there is, and it's hard for a lot of people to say no.
Yeah, because they're pretty high pressure.
They are, and it's on that. That's the fleet-wide thing with any cruise line you go
Yeah,
on.
it is.
So I usually tell people, if you need a massage, get it before you come on the boat.
Yeah.
Save a lot of money and use that money for something else you want.
But if you really want to do it, when you're in port, they usually have good deals.
They do. It's less
Better
expensive on
deals.
port days, but it's still triple what you'll pay at home.
Right, for a pedicure or any of those
Yeah.
things. Yeah. Okay. So, and there is a lot of upselling on the boats.
It's business.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. It's business, but you just got to say no and walk away. Or if you really want it, then get it.
Okay. And a tip I have for y'all are the photo packages. So, as a newbie, on the first and second day, or anybody on first and second day, you get 20% off your photo packages. One of the big tips that they gave me was that I asked if I go ahead and get the 5 photo package and later I decide I want to go to 10, can I upgrade that and still get the 20% off? And they said yes. So ask, because it doesn't hurt to ask. If you're Diamond Plus, and I'm not sure the other benefits of that, but we'll talk about that later, but you get 25% off.
Yes. Plus, I get a picture on printed or digital on every cruise.
Right. Right, so
Yes.
that's another little perk, and we're going to talk about
Mhm.
levels later on in our interview. So talk about tips. Just do the blanket tips or individual tips.
That's a personal preference for each person. Tips are split between all of the culinary staff and all, and I prefer to tip each person that serves me.
Okay.
I may not ever use a pool bar, but I might use the casino bar. I see no reason in tipping someone from the pool bar when I'm in the casino bar. So to me, either you can leave it blank across the wall, how you want, or you can do it at the end in cash, which that's what we do. We tip each individual person that we deal with.
Yeah, and so just thinking through that, I mean, actually, we hadn't even been to the dining room once.
Right.
Yeah, not once, and we're on day 3
Mhm.
of the cruise. So maybe I don't want to tip that 15% for every single night because we haven't even been in there.
And your tips are done per person per day.
Right.
And it's across the board. So if it's $16 on this one or $18 on another ship, it gets split up, but you never really know where your money is going to as to who gets it. So we just prefer for the service you give us to give back to that person.
And then it's based on true service.
It is.
And so that's what we've been doing too. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the drink package because that's not something that y'all do.
No.
But we looked at the drink package and we almost did it because, as y'all know, we like our wine and we like our cocktails, and we didn't. And I don't want to still, and we haven't given up any of that. But I'm glad we didn't do the drink package because you have to pay per person in the cabin. So like Mike couldn't do it and not me, and we all know he drinks more than me, right? So, but he couldn't do it and not me. We both had to do it, and it was like if I bought it before the cruise, it was like $75 a day. That again is going to be a different price depending on how long your cruise is. So we saved like 20% or something. But then you're at port, like 2 days we're in port, so we're not even hardly drinking at all. And I did know that we would be playing in the casino, and once you get to a certain level on the casino, you've earned so many points, you get free drinks anyway. So glad we didn't. We still bought a few drinks, but still cost. It was going to be $700 and something for Mike and I to buy the drink package for the whole cruise. Glad we eat together, but I'm glad we didn't do that.
Well, your drinks you have to figure on average are $14 to $16 a drink.
Yeah, I mean a rum and coke is like $10.99.
Yeah. But it averages if you're getting frozen
Mike's beer
or
was $9.
specialty wine, beer's $9. It all depends on how much you're going to drink and the individual person.
Yeah. So weigh that. I will say they've got plenty of water stations, coffee stations,
Mhm.
Coca-Cola stations.
But you have to buy the
That's right.
Coke
You have to buy the
package.
Coke package.
Yes.
And so if you're going to drink a lot of Cokes, you want to get that Coke package
Mhm.
and carry your little cup around with you everywhere you go.
Or bring it on with you.
Or bring it on. Yeah, I guess you could do that too.
Mhm.
So they do have a Coke package. I have not found. I'm a big water drinker, and I drink coffee in the morning. There's plenty of free of that, and
There is.
tea and hot teas.
And the flavored water, it's everywhere.
Yeah,
You can get the strawberry kiwi water, the mango water.
Yes.
It's all free.
yeah. So that will maybe help you figure out if you're going to get that drink package or not, or what type of drink package that you're going to get. For us, we just didn't. It wasn't worth it, and it's
No.
been fine. And you can bring, your 12 bottles of water,
Mhm.
and we're going to talk about that too.
Yep.
So, okay, so this is part 1 of our video series on cruises. So be sure to stay tuned and look for the next video that's coming out.